Hi everyone, Joker Plays here, and today's video is going to be a fun one and more importantly a good learning experience for all of us. We're going to calculate the weight of some of these items to determine how they're going to play a role into our builds. In order to calculate weight, we need some kind of a scale, right? Something to compare. Well, welcome to my scale. This is a basic build that is symmetrical in shape. And when you go to hop on, take flight, as you go up and go down, it will land equally. All four tires will land at the same time. That's how you know that this is balanced well and will serve as our scale for the purposes of this demonstration. Now, how do I prove that this is going to act as a scale? Well, that's simple. I've got an 8x2x1 piece of wood at one end of it and nothing on the other. And when I go to hop in it, take off in the air, you'll see that it tilts back one direction over another because there's nothing here and something here. Now, if we were to now that we see that it tilts one way over another, I placed the exact same piece of wood on the other side. And when we go to take flight, you'll see that we are balanced again and all four tires will land at the same time. This is how we prove the use of this device to act as a scale for the demonstration purposes. Now for the first thing we are going to compare, we've taken an 8x2x1 piece of wood, placed it on one end, and we've taken one that is twice as long and placed it on the other. The reality of it is this takes one piece of wood to create, and this piece takes one piece of wood to create as well. But do they weigh differently? Let's find out. As you can tell, this piece definitely weighs more than this piece, even though they took the same amount of materials to make. So something seems fishy here. Now for the next test, what if we took that same piece of wood on the one side and the one that was twice as long on the other but moved it half the distance as it was before? What do you think is going to happen now? Alright, as we go up, we go back down, you can see that we land on all four. That's kind of interesting. Now for the laws of physics to apply equally, an object that is twice as heavy but placed at half the distance from the fulcrum point will weigh exactly the same as an object that is half as heavy but twice the distance. This means that the physics in the game related to weight is equal to actual laws of physics in real life. So here is a great example of how placing objects matter in your particular builds in terms of where the fulcrum point may lie on their center of gravity. Now this next one's really going to throw your mind for a loop here. On my scale, I have two different objects that are the exact same size. One's made out of wood and the other one is made out of granite. So you've got something that is stone versus wood. Now, wood floats. Stone does not. Let's see what happens. Well, that was really interesting. You just saw that two objects of the same exact size, but two different materials, wood compared to granite, actually weigh the exact same thing in this game. That's a whopper. Who would have figured that? Now, just to prove that I am not, well, losing my mind, I still have that same piece of wood, and I've exchanged this piece for a piece of sandstone, which is a combination of both granite and another material. So now we got two materials that make up this piece here and just plain old wood over here. Now let's see if those two are equal again. As you can tell, all four tires landed at the same time, so it's physical size that matters, not so much the materials in this game. That's really unique. So I know what you're thinking. Maybe it has something to do with the size of the piece, right? Well, let's find out. On this side, we've got a larger piece, foundation-like, made with wood, and one made with granite. They're definitely different than those flat pieces, right? So let's try this out. All 4 tires hit the ground at the same time again. That means the weight of these pieces match even though they're 2 different materials. Interesting. Now for the next test. We're going to take this style block versus this style flat piece. And you could see they have the same number of studs. They take up the same amount of geographical area. This one's definitely bigger than this one. Well, taller, I guess. Now let's find out what happens here. Well, you can see we definitely tilted in this direction. It's physically bigger than this, yet the same size in studs. But is it truly that much heavier based on physical size? Let's find out. So now we've added another layer. So now we're basically 2/3 the size of this block, but we still take up the same amount of surface area. Is it still going to be heavier? The answer is all 4 tires landed at the same time. Therefore, 2/3 the size on the flat pieces equates to 1 on the piece that's more depth or has more height to it. What does that mean? Well, it means these pieces are a lot more dense in weight than this piece. Therefore, it takes 2/3 to every one of these to equal the same amount of weight. So as you're doing your builds, just keep that in mind. 2 layers of this will equal the same weight as this, but take up less space. Alright, now it's time to cross-reference some of our work that we've done so far. On this side we have the same assembly but built out of granite, and on this side we have the same one built out of wood. In theory, this should land exactly the same on all 4. Let's give it a try. And all 4 tires do land at the same time. Sometimes camera angle throws it off, but all 4 tires did land at the same exact time, leading us to believe that what we found out prior to is that the granite is the exact same weight as the wood, and therefore the expectation of this result was that the granite in 2 layers thick, same size, would match that of the weight of this one piece in wood on a much larger scale. Therefore, we can assume that the density of the thin floor material is greater than the density of the normal size pieces. So what does all this mean? Well, what does this boil down to? Well, as you're building assemblies, you're building different vehicles, constructing different materials, we found out that the weight is exactly the same. So if you are building airships, boats, anything that moves, in which you're worried about the material weight being a factor in flight, for example, or floating, well, just focus on strength. So if the materials all weigh the same in terms of physical size, then why not just build with stronger materials and not worry about if your assembly is going to break or not? The more brittle the material is, the more brittle your assembly is going to be. So forget the weight. You're not saving anything in weight. Build it stronger. That's the bottom line. Alright everyone, I hope this video has brought some unique aha moments to everyone in terms of weight physics in this game. I truly appreciate you tuning in. This is really just the first video in a series that I'll be doing with regards to the game's physics. The first one had everything to do with weight. The second one that's about to follow has to do with the pounds of thrust associated with our different thrusters. And I may even include how much weight it's going to take to lift off with the different balloons. So you never know what may happen in the future. So stay tuned, folks. And thanks again for watching this video. Again, be ready for part 2. Hi everyone, YouTube thinks that you're going to enjoy these 2 videos that you see on your screen. Please do me a solid, like and subscribe, and if you want, please continue on and watch these other videos. They are great. I know I put a lot of fun effort into them, but it's all a learning experience for the community, so if you get a chance, please check out these videos. Thanks again.